Have interviewed with a media person, have been quoted in the newspaper, been on radio, TV. Okay.
And they don't look too happy about it. Did you see the faces?
Yeah.
Bloodsuckers.
In the 9 years I've been with the Department of Health, I've had a variety of jobs in communications office, speechwriter, public information officer, director, risk communications, and one of the things I've always enjoyed was was talking to the media. I like it, but you know why? Because it's a little game. Me too. They want to get a story, I want to get my points across, and sometimes we both win. Hopefully that's what happens, but that's how I always approached it. Those of you who have not done an interview with the media, fear not, because in times of crisis you never know who the spokesperson is going to be. Quick story, and we'll have a few stories today. During the anthrax attack in 2001, I was a speechwriter. The guy sitting next to me was the another technical term, he was the web guy. And we usually didn't deal with the media. The director of communications was brand new. The assistant director had an appendicitis attack the day the Hamilton Post Office closed. Acting governor, acting commissioner. Me and the web guy ended up being the main spokespeople for that response. And we were not only dealing with local media, we were dealing with CNN, USA Today, NBC in New York, and it was on and on and on for a month. So we got thrown in. Yeah, we had a little bit of background, but you never know when you're going to be the media person. So with that, today here's what we're gonna talk about. What is risk communication and why do we have it? Some of the principles of risk communication that you'll be able to use during an emergency. The communication challenges for a spokesperson, and some tips and strategies on being a spokesperson. Risk communication basically is a science-based approach to getting your message across. The guy at the bottom, his name's Vincent Cavello. He's the godfather, grandfather, grandpoobah of risk communication. He was an academician. How do you say that? You're a doctor. Academician.
He's an Eiffel Tower guy.
So he did a lot of studying. He went back and looked at oodles and oodles of newspaper interviews, responses, and their effectiveness. He did a study on their effectiveness, and he talked about did a study on how communication changes when there's high concern or when there's stress. And anybody have kids? Okay. Anybody was a kid? When my son comes home on time, there's no stress communication between him. Hey, how you doing? How was school? Saturday night, he came home at 3:30 a.m. I was asleep, but my wife was not, and there was high stress communication. He didn't hear what she was saying, she didn't hear what he was saying, because they both had one thing in mind. So when stress happens, you hear less, you process less, and you have to simplify. So let's move on. Just what I just said.
Yes.
People process information, people understand, people act on information differently. If we're late, this morning we were late, and we didn't really know where we were going. We asked 9 people where this place was. We had no idea what building, how many towers, what tower, north, and so we acted on the information differently. We ignored most of it and just kept walking. Because we were late, we couldn't have time. All right, after he gave me 2 directions, I'm not listening anymore. So that's how people communicate in a crisis, get it? This is low stress. This is low stress for us because we know what we're doing. Maybe high stress for you because you may think you may be picked upon to be on camera later, so you might be stressed out. But during a give and take, there's nothing going on. It's a guy up here droning on and on about stuff. You should be able to process how many money, there's a blank up there. How many messages during low stress? Throw a number out. Alan, go ahead.
10.
Not bad.
Not a bad guess.
It's between 10 and 14. Okay. So in your average classroom situation during a 2-hour lecture, students should be able to take it. During a crisis, anybody want to guess what that number might go to?
2.
Close again. 3. People couldn't remember 3 messages. Okay.
I need one.
So
Thank you.
there are certain ingredients in the miscommunication messages because people can only process so much, they act differently, and they comprehend differently. Every message should contain these things, should have some of these elements. Not over-reassuring. In public health, we have a tendency to want to make everything be okay. Everything's all right, just calm down. However, what happens in crisis is if you over-reassure and things get worse, you can never get that credibility back. Give you a quick example. During the 9/11 attacks, the estimate of how many people would die in that attack, Giuliani, and he knew the media needed a number. That was the other key thing. He knew he needed a number. He estimated about 10,000 people would die. When it was 3,000, we were actually relieved. Okay, it's not as bad as we thought it was going to be. Couldn't have went the other way around. If you said 3,000 and then there were 10,000 people had died, he would have lost a lot of credibility. Giuliani, by the way, is regarded as, for that brief time period during 9/11, a master of risk communication. History allows us to look back. Maybe some of the things maybe some of the things he said we should have taken a look at. Sending people out with no protection from the air. I get to wear this? Okay. I get free coffee now. But anyway, so that's one thing, not over-reassuring. Acknowledge uncertainty and fear.
Why don't you just say hi, Mom?
Our main thing usually is to say, it's okay, it's not going to be bad, things are going to be all right. But people, during crises, I remember, I lived in Hamilton during the anthrax. People in our neighborhood didn't know whether to open their mail or not. They were uncertain. And it was okay to acknowledge that. We understand people might be afraid. However, if you wash your hands after you take in your mail, if you wash your hands frequently, that's a good thing. It gets rid of all bacteria, including anthrax. Talk about processes that are in place.